In this section, we are going to learn lots of different massage techniques. Now that we've moved through our basic touch techniques, minimal stimulation, skin to skin, lots of ways to provide touch experiences to enrich our baby's development and to provide a beautiful, nourishing sensory environment that involves touch and smell and taste. That is the best for our babies. We're ready to move into massage techniques. So remember I told you that when the mother baby massage person came to our house in Washington, D.C., and massaged my baby and could calm him and then passed him to me and I couldn't calm him. Remember how disempowering that was for me. That's the source of my passion for how we work with our moms and our dads and our family members. We want to encourage them and help them develop the skills and the competence so that they can feel confident and trust their instincts and feel very much empowered to provide these amazing massage and touch techniques for their babies. So we begin with another piece of this that I feel so strongly about, and that is what we're doing in these situations is that we are doing with baby as opposed to doing to baby. That's another very, very important concept in the Newborn Touch Instructor Program. So there's so much. I see it all the time. You probably do too. I see it in the grocery store. I see it, just adults just kind of doing to and doing to and doing to baby. And it's such an important concept to shift over and to think about the relationship, to think about relationship-based care, to think about how the baby is responding and what kind of information the baby's giving you. So I love this picture of mom with her hands on baby's chest. She's watching, she's just seeing what baby is ready for and what baby's interested in. So with that, we'll start with doing with our babies. And we know that another thing that I was taught when I first started taking infant massage courses, just as the massage person who came to our house inadvertently sent me the message that I couldn't do this. Another key part of my training that's made such a difference for me is that my original infant massage trainer taught us to ask permission of the baby. As funny as that might sound to a little bitty newborn, you're saying, do you want a massage? But what it does is it creates for the adult the opportunity to really tune into the baby and the opportunity for the adult to be humble and to say, do you want a massage? Also, babies begin remembering and thinking about what you're saying and they'll anticipate. So this little fella clearly is ready for a massage. So the adults who are caring for her or for him can definitely say, okay, yes, this baby's ready for a massage. We're going to do some finger circles just like this one is doing on this little one around the temples and around the cheeks. So first we need to start with a clear understanding of how much pressure gives us the best result according to the research. This is extremely, extremely important. So you can, it's kind of the Goldilocks effect, right? So you can have touch that's too light and touch that's a little too much and touch that's just right. That's what we're going for. We want to go with the touch that's just right, the amount of pressure that's just right. So looking at the skin, we see the touch receptors are well below the surface of the skin. So if you look at kind of the length of this hair, it's almost half of the length that is above the skin is down below the skin before you get to the touch receptors. What that tells us is that the touch experience that we provide for our babies is, and listen to my words, I'm choosing them very carefully, it's moderate touch. So not too little, not too much. It's moderate touch. So we want to make sure that we're giving enough of a touch experience so that the touch receptors are responding to the touch. That's where we get the amazing benefits that we see in all of the research about touch and massage. So let's practice. Get your demonstration doll, if you will, and go ahead and let's begin on the sole of baby's feet, on the bottom part of their feet. And we're going to do thumb rolls first. And the way you do the thumb rolls is you plant your thumb at the bottom of baby's foot. And of course, you can see here how this caregiver is really supporting baby's foot, not pushing the foot back too far. She has baby's foot supported here as well. And then the thumb is the one that's providing the touch and massage. So we have baby supported. And then with the thumb roll, we're going to start at the bottom at the heel and press in. And perhaps you can see I am really putting some nice moderate pressure on the sole of baby's foot. So you're going to roll a little bit up and keep that foot supported, and then lift your thumb. So we're not stroking. We're not using oil in these massage techniques. We're pressing and rolling, and then you can lift and go back where you left off and press and roll, always watching baby, seeing if they're enjoying this as you're doing this with your baby, and then press and roll and press and roll. And sometimes I like to just sort of cover the toes with the top of my hand and just hold them for just a minute with some nice moderate pressure right in the middle of baby's foot, of the sole of baby's foot. So those are some thumb rolls that we can do on baby's feet, one foot, then the other. Another place to do thumb rolls is on baby's hands. So you can just, again, supporting the back of the hand and placing your thumb and then just rolling up, lift, roll up. You may want to make sure that your fingernails are trimmed so that you're not accidentally, baby skin is very tender little tissue. So rolling all the way up. And again, when you get to that spot, maybe you'll want to wrap your hand around baby's little hand and give them a nice little moderate squeeze on the palm of their hands. That can be very, very nourishing for babies. There's so much research about how it helps babies gain the appropriate amount of weight, helps them with certainly with soothing, and that's what we're going for. Other massage techniques include finger circles. So you have thumb rolls, which you can do on any part of the baby's body that you feel it's appropriate to do thumb rolls. You can also do finger circles. So with finger circles, you can take your fingers and just maybe right there on baby's temple, just again, moderate pressure, and put one of your fingers, or sometimes I even like to put two fingers on baby's temple and just go in a slow little circle all the way around so that you're doing finger circles at baby's temple. Also, baby's jaw. Now, as babies get older and they're starting to teeth, this can be so soothing for them to have finger circles around their jaw when they're teething. And then also around their lips, little finger circles around baby's lips. We know that the lips have a huge array of nerve endings. And that's a survival thing for human babies, so that babies can root around and find mother's breast so that they can eat, so that they can snuggle in the dark of night and find mom. So there are lots of nerve endings around the lips. So you can just do finger circles all the way around and up below their nose, that little spot between their nose and their upper lip. Those little finger circles can be very soothing. And then we can move further, look at all the opportunities to provide nurturing and supportive touch to our babies. Continuing with the finger circles, we can do finger circles around the palms of their hands. So let's say you want to do thumb rolls up, and then when you get to their little fingers, you want to do a little finger circle right there. So I have baby's little tiny, tiny finger. I'm going to gently put moderate pressure, and I'm just going to roll my thumb around a little bit without lifting it. Again, we're not stroking. We're not using any kind of technique that causes friction for the baby's skin. And then we can move to the next finger and do finger circles. We also know, in terms of neural pathways, that the human body has lots and lots of nerve endings at the fingertips. And again, that's a survival skill. That's so that we can pick the berries out of the bush and not get pricked by thorns, so that we can differentiate different touch experiences and different things that we feel. So we can use finger circles all the way around, finger circles on the ears. This is a wonderful way to provide soothing touch for babies. And you can lift their ear, put the thumb right behind, and just do little finger circles with moderate touch starting at the top of their ear, and just gently with your finger circles, gently, gently move down and down until you get to the baby's earlobe. And again, a nice little finger circle there. You see how my finger's just barely moving. And then maybe even cupping your hand over baby's ear once you've given that good touch experience. Ears, feet, toes, all of their little muscles. Look over here, you've got a little belly. You can do finger circles and thumb rolls on little bellies. And on their little cheeks, on their little rumps. Some babies really love to have circular massage around their little rumps. So let's see what else we have here. Let's not forget about tummy time. So it's very important that our babies have some tummy time. And when they do have that tummy time, we can also, with them, we can provide some massage. And so I like to call this one kitty cat. So with kitty cat, again, I'm not stroking baby skin. I'm not using oils. I can do this skin to skin like this little baby doesn't have his clothes on, and the caregiver is providing massage. But you can also certainly do this when baby's dressed. But you're going to use your fingertips, and you're just going to do little finger circles. So I'm using a finger circle on one side and then a finger circle on the other side. Then I'm going to lift and move down a little bit, finger circle. Practice this on your doll while I'm doing that, and see what you think. And then lift and another little finger circle. So that's why I call this kitty cat. It's almost like a little kitty cat is walking along and providing that nice moderate touch. Also, all the way down the spine, we talked earlier about the vagus nerve. And so the vagus nerve starts at the brainstem of the baby and goes all the way down and then spreads all out across the whole body. So this can stimulate that parasympathetic response, that calming response, that rest and digest response, as opposed to the fight or flight response, which is when cortisol and fear comes in and that sort of thing. So this can be very, very calming technique for babies. You can have baby up on your shoulder while you're doing little finger circles all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. So also the back of the neck. And so as we continue with touch techniques, we're continuing to do with the baby and as opposed to doing to the baby. So speaking of doing to the baby, we need to pause for a second and have a little word about tickling. Now, I am the middle of 5 children. I have an older brother. I had older cousins, and my older cousins and my brother loved to tickle me. And I loved it and loved it and loved it until I didn't. Have you had that experience? We know from the research that the tickling sensation on the baby's skin can be very irritating, and the baby can't quite regulate their response to the tickling. So as adults, we very much want to hear that lovely little wet chortle, that little, and we think that tickling is the way to elicit that kind of a response. But I'm going to show you there are other ways to get that same kind of response that adults just love, but without the tickling. So here you have a caregiver with the palms of their hands right on baby's chest. And so I've just watched baby after baby after baby, where you put your palm right there on your chest and you look at them and you just go, put a little pressure, but a moderate amount of pressure right into their chest and do just a little bitty circle. So, and babies will chortle and laugh and but their little hands and feet will go. So we're going to be bold and find other ways to play with babies and tickle babies and get that wonderful response without that tickling. So let's look at some ways of doing that. Another way is, let's talk about this little piggy. So if you want to do this little piggy with your baby, there's a different way that most of us were taught this little piggy, and it involved, running up the side of the baby and causing that laughter. However, that can be ultimately very irritating to babies because again, they don't quite know how to regulate that. They don't know how to say, "Okay, I'm done. That's enough tickling." So here's how we can do this little piggy. Here's baby's little foot, and so you can use your finger circles. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy came home. This little piggy had roast beef, and this little piggy had none. And this little piggy went wee, wee, wee. And all I'm doing is providing moderate pressure and a nice little finger circle all the way home. Same thing, having so much fun with little nursery rhymes. Some of my friends say this little piggy went to market, this little piggy stayed home, this little piggy had tofu, and this little piggy had none, and this little piggy went wee, wee, wee all the way home. So many ways we can provide nurturing touch for our babies in a way that's very loving for them. So let's take a look. That said, there are all kinds of other ways to love on our babies, and I just get such a kick out of this picture. So all the opportunities during the day, there's so many times day and night that we can provide this safe, supportive, nurturing touch that we know our babies love and crave. So diapers, we change diapers around 7 times a day over the lifetime of the baby. That's a lot of diapers. Lots of diaper changes. You add bath time into that, you add feeding time into that, you add the sleep and wake routine, and then the tummy time where they're getting some playtime on their tummies. You have thousands of opportunities to provide safe, supportive, and nurturing, nourishing touch and massage experiences for our babies that help enrich their environment, help enrich their brain, help create that beautiful responsive relationship with the adult and the child, and really provide such a nurturing, nourishing environment. As we wrap up our section on touch and massage, I'd love for you to share in the comments what your experience was as you went through the touch techniques and the massage techniques. And what are you taking with you? What are you going to hold on to and take with you? Please put those comments in the section, and I'm going to see you in our next module when we begin to talk about observing baby's cues and understanding how to respond to those cues.